I helped my boss cheat without knowing it, and now I can't unsee it. He was the nicest boss I ever had. Charismatic, sharp, always remembered my coffee order. This is Lena's story. 26th. First full-time job after college. The kind of employee who stayed late, triple-checked emails, and never questioned instructions, especially when they came from someone so respected. And this is Marcus, 42nd, a senior executive, polished, married, known around the office as the family man, the one who left work early to attend his daughter's dance recitals, the one whose wife sent cookies every Christmas, the one people trusted. And this is Claire, Yermi Sekizinchi smart, stylish, senior enough to intimidate, charming enough to admire. She'd worked under Marcus for almost 4 years, always traveled with him, always sat next to him during big pitches. People whispered, of course, but it was office gossip. And Lena didn't believe in gossip. She believed in professionalism. Her job was simple: book meetings, manage calendars, coordinate travel, and Marcus always kept things clean. No weird texts, no off-color jokes, just smooth professionalism and friendly smiles. Until the Atlanta trip. Marcus asked Lena to book flights for him and Claire. Same departure, different return dates. Nothing unusual. But then he said something different. Also, don't use the company email thread for this one. Claire prefers things more discreet. It sounded reasonable. Claire liked her privacy. Maybe it was a surprise trip. Maybe it was about an internal restructure. Lena didn't question it. She just followed instructions. She thought that's what good assistants did. A week later, the company hosted a virtual quarterly meeting. It was casual. Cameras on, everyone cheerful. Then a woman's face popped onto the screen. Warm, graceful, smiling. Marcus's wife. She introduced herself in front of 100 people. Talked about their 3-year-old daughter. Showed a drawing. Laughed and said, Marcus didn't want to travel this quarter. He said he couldn't miss bedtime again. And just like that, something in Lena's stomach twisted. She had booked that flight. She had kept it off the record. She had helped him lie. I thought I was doing admin work. Turns out I was deleting the paper trail of an affair. This is a story about silence, unspoken truths, and what it means to look back and realize you were part of someone else's secret, and you didn't even know. After that Zoom call, I couldn't stop thinking about what Marcus's wife said. He didn't want to travel. He didn't want to miss bedtime. But I had booked that trip. Same weekend, same city, same hotel. I even remember he told me to upgrade their room, said it was for productivity. And still, I didn't question it. Because questioning it meant admitting something I didn't want to see. After the meeting ended, I went through my inbox. Just to confirm. There it was. A message from Marcus's personal Gmail. Sent at midnight. Subject, Flight Adjustments, Confidential. In it, he had written, Let's avoid the shared calendar. Just ping me directly from now on. That was the first moment I felt it. A drop in my stomach. Like my instincts had just caught up to something my brain had been editing out. For weeks, I'd been helping them change meeting rooms last minute, push project deadlines due to travel, and schedule one-on-ones outside the office with no notes, no follow-up. Claire would come back glowing. Marcus would be extra generous. He once gave me a spa gift card out of nowhere. I thought he was just kind. Now I knew better. The worst part wasn't just the lie. It was realizing I'd become part of it. Claire started CCing me less. Marcus switched to texting. All their requests became more subtle. Print this for me, but no need to log it. Just remind me to check out early. I'll handle the rest in person. I had a front row seat to something I didn't even know was playing out, until it was already too late. The turning point came the day Marcus's wife showed up at the office, unannounced, holding lunch, smiling. She walked straight to his office, said she missed him, left after 10 minutes. Claire didn't come out of the break room for the rest of the day. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I had proof, but because I didn't need it anymore. I knew. And worse, I had helped. I thought I was being efficient, organized, loyal. But all I'd done was help a man cheat more effectively, by keeping his mess off the books. I wasn't the one lying, but I made it easier for him to lie. In the next part, we'll talk about the silent roles people play in other people's betrayals, and why not asking questions doesn't always make you innocent. Let's talk about passive complicity, because most people who help someone cheat don't realize they're doing it. Not at first. They think they're just helping, just doing admin work, just being good at their job. That's what Lena thought. She didn't sign up for the lie. But every time she booked a flight off the record, adjusted a schedule last minute, or kept a secret for efficiency, she became part of it. Not by intention, but by participation. And that's how most secrets survive. Not because everyone's lying, but because no one's asking. There's a line between doing what you're told and doing what's right. And in many workplaces, that line gets blurred by loyalty, hierarchy, and fear of overstepping. But here's the thing. If your gut tells you something's off, you don't need proof to pause. You just need to listen. Because silence protects a lot of wrong things. And when you keep pressing send, or deleting the CC, or nodding without thinking, you're not just doing your job. You're making it easier for someone else to keep hurting people without consequence. If you've ever been in Lena's position, doing things that didn't feel wrong at the time but haunt you later, just know this. The shame isn't in what you didn't see. The power is in what you do when you finally do see it. You don't have to be the liar to carry the weight of the lie. In the next part, we'll hear what Reddit had to say. The stories from people who accidentally became part of someone else's betrayal and had to decide whether silence was still an option. When Lena's story went up on Reddit, it didn't just spark conversation. It sparked confessions. Because sometimes, being part of a lie doesn't mean telling it. It just means not asking why. Comment 1. You/just booked the room. I used to manage travel for an exec, too. I thought he was just very private. Turns out, I booked 3 anniversary trips. None of them were for his wife. 41.2K likes. And that's how it starts. Private. Discreet. Don't CC anyone. Professionalism becomes the perfect hiding place. Comment 2. I held the door open. I used to let them use my office for their off-record check-ins. I thought I was being nice. Turns out, I was just making space for their affair. 37.9K likes. Sometimes being nice is the most innocent-looking form of unintentional complicity. Comment 3. I should have asked why. Every time I helped her reschedule for emergency travel, I felt weird. But I didn't want to assume. Now I realize I wasn't assuming. I was avoiding. Thumbs up 39.4K likes. That comment hits hard, because when your gut speaks, silence becomes a choice, even if you don't want it to be. Comment 4. Not my lie, but my hands were there. I didn't lie, I just printed things, deleted calendar notes, cleaned up after meetings, that was all, but I still feel dirty. 44.6K likes. You can follow every rule and still feel like you helped break something that should have never been hidden. Comment 5. I stayed quiet because I was new. I knew, not everything, but enough. And I was scared to say something, because I needed the job. I still do. But I wish I had drawn the line sooner. 48.1K likes. That's the real conflict. Survival versus integrity. And when the system protects the wrong people, silence becomes a strategy, but also a scar. If you've ever helped someone without knowing the whole story, and later found out you were helping them cheat, hide, or hurt, that guilt isn't yours to keep forever. But the clarity? That's yours now. Because the truth is, you don't have to lie to be a piece of someone else's deception. I wasn't the liar, but I helped him keep it quiet. And now I know that's still not okay. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe if you've ever carried the quiet weight of someone else's secret and promised yourself you won't do it again. Not every betrayal needs a bedroom. Sometimes it starts in a calendar, in an email, in a deleted CC. This is Lena's story. She was 26, new to the company, eager to prove herself, and she worked under a respected, family-first executive everyone admired. Then came the flight bookings, the schedule changes, the quiet, off-the-record meetings, and slowly, without even realizing it, Lena became part of a secret she never meant to keep. In this video, a chilling office affair story from the perspective of the person who unknowingly helped cover it up. Analysis on power, silence, and how just doing your job can turn into silent complicity. Raw Reddit-style comments from others who also carried the quiet weight of someone else's lies. Have you ever helped someone only to realize later you were helping them hide something? Let's talk in the comments. Because when you look back and see the signs, the hardest part isn't what they did. It's that you were standing right there and didn't see it. He called me his biggest what-if, but he was never planning to choose me. He said I was the only person he ever wrote songs about, said letting me go was the biggest mistake of his life. This is Ivy's story. 28th. A freelance designer in Austin, Texas. Fierce, kind, independent, and, until recently, still carrying the soft ache of a man she left behind. And this is Ryan, 29th, a quiet, creative type, a musician with that messy hair, gentle eyes type of charm. He didn't fight for attention. He drew it in quietly, like gravity. They dated in their mid-20s, fell fast, loved deep, and broke up quietly, like people who don't scream when they're hurting. Just walk away, hoping it's for the better. For a while, they stayed silent. Then, one night, months later, he messaged her. Just heard a song that reminded me of us. Funny how you're still in my head. Ivy felt her chest tighten. She responded. Just a simple, I think of you too, sometimes. It started from there. Late-night voice notes, old photos sent like postcards from another lifetime. He said he hadn't dated anyone seriously since her, that he wasn't over it, that she was his what-if. Ivy let herself believe it, because she still missed him too. They met up, talked about the past, laughed, sat too close. Nothing happened, technically, but emotionally, everything happened. He said, "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we tried again." She said nothing, but her heart whispered, "I'm still open to it." He kept the door half open, just enough for me to hope. This is a story about the danger of almosts, nostalgia, and how someone can make you feel chosen, even while they belong to someone else. We started talking again like nothing had changed, as if the breakup didn't leave cracks, as if the months of silence weren't real. Ryan was still him, soft-spoken, curious, familiar. He asked about my life like he still had a place in it. And I let him. He sent me new demos, songs that sounded like us, lyrics like, "You were the fire I couldn't hold." I asked, "Is this about me?" He said, "Always." I wanted to believe him. And the truth is, I did. One night, we met up. A quiet bar near our old apartment. He wore the same jacket, ordered the same drink. We sat too close, talked about how we used to dream big, how we were too young, how maybe we were better now. He looked me in the eye and said, "I think I never really stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to hold you then." I cried that night, not because he said it, but because part of me still believed we could try again. I didn't ask him if he was seeing anyone. I didn't want to ruin the moment. But a week later, I opened Instagram. A friend had tagged me in a post. I clicked on their profile. Then I saw it. Ryan, smiling, holding hands with a girl I didn't know. The caption read, "3 years together today. Loving you has been the easiest thing I've ever done." 3 years. 3 years. We broke up less than 2 years ago, and just last week, he told me he missed me, that I was his what if, that he wrote songs about me. But the truth is, he never left her. Or maybe, he never left me either. Just kept us both close enough to feel wanted. I sat there for a long time, staring at the photo, my hand shaking, my chest numb. Not because he cheated, but because he made me believe I still mattered, while mattering to someone else far more consistently. He said I was his biggest mistake, but I was just a memory he didn't want to let go of, until he was sure I wouldn't leave a mark. In the next part, we'll talk about emotional manipulation, how nostalgia can be used as a leash, and how some people say, "I miss you," not because they want you back, but because they don't want you to move on. Let's talk about emotional manipulation through nostalgia. Because what Ryan did wasn't just unfair, it was calculated. Maybe not with bad intentions, but with very real consequences. Telling someone, "You're my biggest what if," while holding someone else's hand is not romantic. It's emotional hedging. It's keeping one person close to feel desired, while staying safe with another to feel secure. People like Ryan don't always lie directly. Instead, they say things like, "I still think about you," "I've never felt that way again," "I wonder what would have happened if we had one more chance." But they don't act on it, because they never meant to. They just wanted to know they could have you, if they wanted. This isn't about cheating. It's about possession through memory. Ryan didn't try to get Ivy back. He just wanted to be missed, to be remembered, to know that somewhere, someone still looked at their phone and smiled when his name popped up. That's not love. That's ego management. It's the emotional version of putting a bookmark in a chapter you don't want to read again, but still don't want to forget exists. If you've ever been someone's almost, someone's what if, someone they came back to when they needed comfort, but never stayed for, please know, you weren't unfinished. You were just never part of their real plan. He didn't want me back. He just didn't want me gone. In the next part, we'll hear what Reddit had to say. The voices of people who were revisited, remembered, and almost loved. Until they realized, almost is just a prettier version of nothing at all. When Ivy's story was shared, Reddit didn't argue. They recognized it. Because sometimes being missed is just the leash people use to keep you from walking away. Comment 1. You/what if was never real. He said I was his biggest what if, but he never once asked to actually try again. That tells you everything. Thumbs up, 41.9K likes exactly. What if is often code for, I don't want you to go, but I'm not willing to come back either. Comment 2. I was his backup emotion. He was never coming back. He just wanted to know he could. I was emotional backup, not closure. 38.6K likes being someone's soft place to land without being their real choice is a betrayal in slow motion. Comment 3. His words were warm but empty. He sent me songs, poems, voice notes, but he never showed up. He gave me emotion, but never decision. 35.4K likes. That's the truth. Feelings are not the same as effort. Wanting someone isn't the same as choosing them. Comment 4. He couldn't let go, but wouldn't hold on. He never let me go, but he never held on either. I was always somewhere between memory and maybe. 43.1. Cole likes that space between memory and maybe. It's the loneliest place to wait. Comment, Sync, I was never the one. Just the reminder. He didn't want me. He just didn't want me to be with someone else first. 47.2. K likes, it's not about love. It's about control dressed up as nostalgia. If you've ever had someone say they missed you, said they weren't over it, said you were their what if, but still didn't choose you, know this. You're not a backup plan, not a soft landing, not a bookmark in someone's ego. You are a full story, and you deserve someone who doesn't look back wondering, but moves forward, choosing. He didn't want me back. He just wanted to know I hadn't gone too far. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe if you've ever mistaken someone's I miss you for something real, and promised yourself you won't fall for it again. He left me kindly. But years later, he told me the truth wasn't kind at all. He said he just wanted to talk. Just one coffee. Nothing more. This is Elena's story. 30. A freelance writer in San Diego, lives near the ocean, spends mornings with coffee and silence. She's the kind of person people assume has moved on, because she doesn't talk about him anymore. And this is Logan. 32nd creative. Collected. Always said the right thing at the right time. They dated for almost 4 years. Broke up. In a way people envy. No screaming, no cheating. Just a quiet decision that felt too mature to question. He told her, I think we've grown apart. We want different things now. I'll always care about you. He hugged her gently, said she was the best thing that ever happened to him, then walked away, like a man who didn't want to hurt anyone. Elena cried, but she didn't fight it. Because when someone leaves gently, you assume the hurt is yours, alone. 2 years passed. She healed. Slowly. She stopped checking his socials, unfollowed, didn't block, but didn't look either. And then, one night, her phone lit up. A name she hadn't seen in 2 years. Logan. The message was short. Elena, I'm not trying to complicate your life. I just want to say sorry, properly. Could we talk? Just once? She stared at the screen. Not angry, not excited. Just still. What do you do when someone who left you clean comes back messy? She said yes. He said he left because he was confused. He came back because he wasn't anymore. This is a story about the apologies we never knew we needed, and the truths that don't change the past, but finally let us understand it. We met at a little place by the beach, the kind of cafe where the mugs don't match and no one's in a rush. He smiled when he saw me. Not wide, just enough to say, thank you for showing up. I hadn't seen Logan in 2 years, but it felt like no time had passed, and also like a lifetime had. We talked about work, travel. His job was doing well. He asked about my writing. I kept it polite, detached. Like people who had shared a life, but were now just civil ghosts. And then, after a long pause, he said it. I didn't come here to catch up. I came here to be honest. Really honest. I looked at him. He didn't look guilty. He looked scared. He took a breath. I lied to you when we broke up. I didn't leave because we were growing apart. I left because I had already fallen for someone else. I didn't speak. I just stared, like the coffee between us had frozen. He continued. It wasn't physical, not then. But I knew I had feelings, and instead of telling you, I waited until I could walk away clean. I thought it would hurt you less. I thought, if I left with grace, you'd heal better. That maybe you'd think I was still a good person. And then he said the line I'll never forget. I didn't want you to hate me, so I let you hate yourself instead. My throat went dry, not from shock, but from the sharp recognition of a wound that suddenly had a name. For years, I thought I wasn't enough. That maybe I held on too tightly. That maybe I was the one who made us grow apart. But now, I saw the truth. He just didn't want to be the bad guy. I thanked him. Not because it was okay, but because truth, even late, is better than silence that lies. He didn't cheat with his body. He cheated with his heart, and left me thinking it was my fault. In the next part, we'll break down what it means when someone leaves you kindly, but not honestly, and why clean exits can still leave dirty scars. Let's talk about the kind of heartbreak that doesn't scream, the kind that leaves quietly, respectfully, maturely, and still manages to break you in all the wrong ways. Logan didn't cheat. He didn't shout. He didn't lie in the traditional sense. But he made a choice. A real, deliberate choice. He fell for someone else, and instead of being honest, he made it look like a graceful exit. That's not kindness. That's emotional cowardice wearing a polished suit. Because when someone walks away and lets you believe it was your fault, what they're really doing is protecting their own image at the cost of your healing. And that's a betrayal most people never call out, because it looks too gentle to be cruel. This is what happens when someone wants to leave without feeling like the bad guy. So instead of confessing, they say, "We've changed. I need to grow. It's not you, it's me." But what they don't say is, "I found someone else. I stopped choosing you. I made my decision before I told you." And the worst part? You carry that silence. You rewrite history. You wonder what you did wrong. When in truth, the only thing you did was trust someone who didn't have the courage to hurt you honestly. So if someone ever walked away gently, but left you questioning yourself for months, just know this. Their grace doesn't equal truth. Their quiet exit doesn't make it clean. And not all kindness is honest. He left to protect his image, not my heart. In the next part, we'll hear what Reddit had to say, from people who were left nicely, but later realized it wasn't kindness. It was just convenience. When Elena's story reached Reddit, the comments didn't explode in outrage. They just resonated, because so many people had been left gently and spent years trying to understand why they still felt broken. Comment 1. You/left with kind words. He didn't cheat on me. He just emotionally checked out, fell for someone else, and let me blame myself for it. 44.6K likes. That's the invisible betrayal. Not in what they did, but in what they allowed you to carry alone. Comment 2. You/graceful exit, but still. Lied. He left with grace. But grace without truth isn't kindness. It's performance. 39.8K likes. And what a performance it is. To make someone think you're noble, while quietly handing them the blame. Comment 3. He chose to look innocent. He said we were just drifting apart. But really, he was drifting towards someone new. And I was the one left feeling like I didn't try hard enough. 41.3K likes. That line, "You didn't try hard enough," becomes a ghost that haunts every future relationship, even though it was never true. Comment 4. I was his clean exit. He didn't want to be the guy who cheated, so he left just early enough to say he didn't, but late enough to already have someone else waiting. 48.2K likes that timing isn't coincidence. That's calculation, disguised as dignity. Comment 5. Closure shouldn't come with new scars. He came back to give me closure, but all he gave me was the truth he was too afraid to carry alone. 46.7K likes closure isn't always a gift. Sometimes it's just guilt, wrapped in late honesty. If you've ever been left by someone who looked you in the eyes and said, "This isn't about anyone else," and you believed them, only to find out later that the truth was standing just a few steps behind, know this: their silence was not mercy. It was avoidance, and the version of the breakup you lived with wasn't yours to carry. He said he didn't want to hurt me, so he let me live with a lie that cut deeper than the truth ever could. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe if you've ever had someone leave in a way that looked clean, but left you with years of emotional mess they never dared to name.